The Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions will please come to order. I start off today highlighting this is a bipartisan hearing. The witnesses were selected both by Cassidy and Sanders, and I thank Senator Sanders for his engagement and willingness to just address in such a process such an important issue, retirement. Like almost every American wants to retire for as many reasons as there are Americans. We want to retire with security. So therefore, we agree to have money taken out of our paycheck and put aside one day so that we can retire. Begs the question, if we're paying for it, why can some not afford it? As chair of this committee, I'm committed to making sure that retirement is not some far-off dream, but a reality for everyone in my state of Louisiana and in the United States of America. Senator Tim Kaine and I have several bills in the works, but there is more to do. As we look to strengthen the American retirement system, let's look at what has worked. If we don't have to reinvent the wheel, don't reinvent it, look to the success. The Railroad Retirement Board works. It is solvent. It is successfully providing a wide range of benefits to rail workers and families, including retirement, survivor, disability, unemployment, sickness, and vested dual benefits. But, important to note, this was not always the case. In 2001, the Railroad Retirement Board, the RRB, had over $34 billion in unfunded liabilities by private sector standards. There were too few workers supporting a lot of retirees. Now, that's a problem we're seeing in Social Security and other systems now. What can we learn to benefit? So, in 2001, Congress formed a trust for the RRB, which resembled a private sector pension plan. And they subjected this trust to robust fiduciary standards similar to what is expected in the private sector. Congress made sure the money was invested with the best interest of beneficiaries in mind. And it took the power of the American economy and it brought it to the service of hardworking Americans who wouldn't invest on the stock market on their own, but through this process could enjoy the fruits of what our economy spins off. Now, this reform had bipartisan support. We look back upon that in kind of an envy. Every Democrat in the Senate voted for it, and many of my colleagues who voted for it in 2001 are still in Congress today. They were either in the House or the Senate then, but they still are. Let me give some examples. Susan Collins, Mike Crapo, Dick Durbin, Chuck Grassley, Lisa Murkowski, Patty Murray, who's on our committee, Jack Reed, Chuck Schumer, Mark Warner, and Ron Wyden. By the way, the few who opposed were Republicans. Democrats unanimously, Republicans substantially. But since this is an agency that has been supported by Congress, employers, unions, and workers. And that is what we should be striving for in this committee's work. Bipartisan, multi-stakeholder agreement around solutions delivering results for workers and families. As of September 2024, the RRB Trust held $28.6 billion in assets compared with $27.6 billion in liabilities. And these returns enabled Congress to lower the payroll tax on employers and to provide a lower retirement age to workers than Social Security without harming the overall solvency of the program. By the way, the RRB Trust charges fees lower than most private sector funds, which means more of those dollars fund the benefits. So, modeled after a pension investment fund, which is how every major corporation successfully plans for their employees' retirements, the RRB's trust fund is predicted to continue running smoothly and solvently for another 75 years, which is the limit of our projections. It is the gold standard for sustainability. Investing in the power of the U.S. economy, producing returns for the families relying on that income. Now, we spend a lot of time in Washington talking about what doesn't work. It becomes about problems and barriers, and my gosh, can't we work it out? It turns out that when we focus on things that do work, we can find solutions to these problems, and perhaps collaboration where previously we thought it not possible. So let's learn from the RRB. Let's come up with other solutions based upon this that work for the employer, the union, the ununionized, and the worker. Thank you to our witnesses for being here. We look forward to hearing firsthand accounts of the RRB's positive impact